Guys, Goku is finally going to use all his power allied to his sword Excalibur to defeat the evil Saiyan Hiroki. Will Goku be able to give freedom to the beautiful girl Yamoshi? Well, let's see this now. Leave your like, let's hit the goal of 3,000 likes, and already, you know, as soon as this goal is reached, I'll bring the next episode in the next and well-done sequence that comes with me. In the 7th universe. Currently in the 7th universe, more precisely on planet Earth, it was possible to see Hiroki and Kyu flying over one of the biggest cities on planet Earth. Both were looking at all the humans who were from one side or the other. Hiroki and Kyu were analyzing the planet in search of the pulse of divine energy that had appeared on the planet a few hours ago. And even though Hiroki and Kyu were in another universe, they ended up feeling the great amount of divine energy on the planet, and because it was an extremely pure energy, the one who felt the most bad with the energy, it was Hiroki, because Hiroki's divine power was completely dark and evil, which made pure energy a lethal poison for him. And it was because of that energy that Hiroki returned to the 7th universe to put an end to it. After all, Hiroki's enemies could use that source of pure divine power to finish him off. Kyu said, "Are you sure this planet is where the divine pure energy came from? This planet only has weak beings. Well, among these weak, there are some who have a certain level of strength, but most of these beings are so weak that it is disgusting. And just breathing the same air as these inferior beings makes me want to vomit, or destroy everyone who lives in this ridiculous blue planet. I just wouldn't destroy the foxes that exist on this planet, because they remind me a lot of my family members that I have," said the fox in a tone of disgust towards the human race. But on the part of the foxes, Kyu spoke in a more sentimental tone because the foxes that were on the planet were very similar to him, and some of his closest relatives, and thanks to that, Kyu didn't want to have to destroy such creatures. Hiroki said, "I'm sure that pure divine energy came from this planet, and just like you, I don't like this race or this planet. I want to destroy this planet as quickly as possible. I just didn't do that because I want to know where that one came from pure divine energy to find a way to destroy or simply corrupt this divine energy, turning the energy into evil. After I do that, this planet will turn to dust. But I will give you enough time to rescue these foxes since you apparently like them," said the Saiyan, who, like Kyu, had a tone of revulsion and disgust in relation to humans, but in relation to the foxes, Hiroki spoke with a neutral tone to Kyu. After all, the fox that came from another dimension was the only being that Hiroki had. Surely I could defeat him, since both had a very close level of strength. Kyu said, "Since you're sure about that, then let's go find the place where the pure divine energy came from, because the faster we manage to find that place, the faster we can leave. And obviously I'll take the foxes with me and give them away for some important members of my family who are still alive. But I hope that the strong warriors of this planet at least try to resist, because if they don't resist, it'll be very embarrassing to destroy this planet and everyone on it," said the fox, looking at his Saiyan ally, who just nodded in agreement with the fox's statement. After all, he was a Saiyan and wanted to fight someone strong. Hiroki and Kyu began to fly towards the divine energy. Hiroki could still feel a slight trace of pure divine energy, and it made him nauseous. Still, Hiroki and Kyu flew until they reached an island in the middle of the sea. But when they got there, both the warriors were surprised, and suddenly Kyu and Hiroki had to dodge a blade and an energy spear that ended up passing through both warriors. The attacks ended up hitting the sea, generating a big explosion that could be easily compared to an atomic bomb. But thanks to a barrier around the island, those who were there were not hurt. In this case, it was Master Roshi, Whis, and Yamoshi who had gone to the place to see the outcome of that battle that could have put an end to his greatest fear and nightmare that existed for many years, and that now would have its end, or that was what the ancestor of the Saiyans wanted to happen. Hiroki and Kyu quickly recovered from the shock of being attacked with such intensity, and it was there that they saw Vegeta and Goku with their new transformations activated. Goku was holding Excalibur, and both he and Vegeta were with their white auras that left Hiroki afraid of that sword. After all, his evil power was already warning him that the sword was different and too deadly for Hiroki, which made the Saiyan know where the completely pure divine power was coming from. Yamoshi thought, "Now the battle that I always avoided, and even when I was forced to fight, I ran away, so I wouldn't have to face Hiroki out of fear or because I still like him. And even after years, I still can't fight against Hiroki with the intention of killing him. So now I entrust the mission of defeating this monster to you, Son Goku," thought the ancestor of the Saiyans while looking at the two Saiyans who could rid her of her greatest fear and regret. The target of most of the looks of the ancestor of the Saiyans was Goku, who had Excalibur in his hands. Kyu spoke. "That is indeed something interesting. Those two who were on that planet where his ex-wife or current wife was, who, by the way, is on that island, became stronger. I must admit that it is surprising that those two idiots, who are very weak now, stand in front of us with such great power in their hands. And it seems that sword was responsible for releasing so much pure divine energy at once, and that energy is already affecting you, Hiroki, said the fox in a playful way while looking at Hiroki, who had an angry expression on his face. Kyu could see that Hiroki's hand was shaking, which showed that he was afraid of that sword because of its pure divine power. Hiroki thought, "That sword with that damn power, how did you know it exists? Especially how did these Saiyans find it? Excalibur should have been separated thousands of years ago, and one of the fragments I had found I sealed inside a black hole that no one would ever try to look for, and even if they tried, they would not be able to get out of the black hole, or the seal I had placed there. So how did they get all their Excalibur shards?" Thought the Saiyan, wondering why Excalibur was in Goku's hands, because Hiroki already knew the sacred sword and knew that the sword was a great danger to him, and that it should never be united, or, if not, Hiroki would be in danger. And upon seeing the completed sword in front of him and in the hands of a Saiyan, Hiroki was afraid of the power of the holy sword. Goku said, "Let's say that we both decided to get stronger to finish you two once and for all. After all, you two are dangerous to stay alive, and apparently you two came to Earth to be able to discover the origin of the divine power that Excalibur released when I took the sword out of the ground, and it looked like you two wanted to destroy the planet too. So we're going to finish you off," said the Saiyan while firmly gripping the hilt of the sword in his hand. Vegeta said, "The other time you easily defeated us, but this time we're going to finish you too. As you can see, this is my new transformation, the true Super Saiyan God. I feel invincible, and since Kakarot is using Excalibur, I'll have to fight against that useless fox." Vegeta spoke with his new form, his white aura shining like the moon, as he looked at his two enemies, and Kyu felt very offended when he heard that. Kyu spoke, "You said I'm not fit to be your opponent, you bastard. For someone who couldn't even stand in our presence, you're pretty damn arrogant," said the fox, with some nerves pulsing in his face. Kyu showed his anger and dissatisfaction with Vegeta's words. Vegeta just closed his eyes and then disappeared, and by pure reflex, Kyu ended up creating a barrier of blue flames around his body. But that was useless because in the next second he ended up feeling a pain in his abdomen, and when he looked forward, Kyu saw Vegeta with one of his fists in his abdomen. Kyu felt a great pain, and Vegeta put more strength into his fists, causing the fox to be thrown back a few meters. Hiroki, seeing Vegeta's speed, was surprised and tried to hit the Prince of the Saiyans. But when Vegeta was about to be hit, Hiroki ended up having one of his hands cut off by Goku, who appeared in front of Hiroki and performed a cut from top to bottom, severing Hiroki's hand, who in the next second ended up using one of his techniques to leave the place and get away from Goku and Vegeta. Goku said, "The fox is yours, Vegeta, and you can let me take care of this guy," said the Saiyan with his back to Vegeta, who just smiled arrogantly. Vegeta spoke, "Don't you dare lose, Kakarot, and remember not to give me orders, you worm," said the Prince of Saiyans before raising his power and advancing against Kyu, who recovered and both started a battle. Hiroki spoke, "I let my guard down and paid the price. But you should have cut my head off when you had the chance, because now I'm going to show you the difference between the two of us," said the Saiyan before making an aura of black flames covering his body. The color of his hair changed to wine red, revealing his transformation of corrupted Super Saiyan God. And first of all, Hiroki managed to make his severed hand transform into a hand made of evil ki. With that, we'll end today's video. If you want to see the continuation of this incredible story, leave a lot of likes in the video and comment, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you on another day, guys.